Welcome back to Universe X YouTube, and today, this evening, I guess this evening if you're watching it right on drop, loyal subs, or, whenever you're watching it in the future, we will be going over the event that just actually unfolded over the past weekend, and that was actually a PPG event in Tampa. It's actually it was pretty fun to watch. It was actually pretty fun to watch. One, because, it's just competitive play. We had some really well-grounded players there. At the same time, though, one of the things that made this event so fun to watch was the spectacular commentary. Previously, I had only kind of had like a couple of combinations of people that I really would say like I'd tune in just to tune in. And I mean, I'm not gonna even like front about it. Like Espira and Richard Zapp, you guys were just like phenomenal during the nationals, as well as it was just great. It was literally just great. But hearing Sublett and Cesco, the dynamic duo commentating, that was powerful. So congrats on the stellar successful weekend. Even with the stream going down on day one, you guys really made it worth watching. So hey, the more good commentators this game has, the more and more litty the events can be for the people that aren't able to attend. So hey, that's awesome. In this video, we're just going to talk a little bit about the breakdown, the implications, and just a tiny bit about going into the next format. Hopefully this video won't be too long. I know most of mine kind of hit around the 20-minute mark, but we're going to kind of keep it concise and short. So the normal plugs I want to normally give. I'm going to say normally one more time because normally. Just wanted to talk about the Facebook group, the official Facebook group. This is where all of the official announcements, rule changes, spoilers, all these things, and then also the discussion group where people discuss the entirety of the game. This is going to be where a lot of the news from this tournament was. Cesco was just posting to the group to keep everybody updated and ready and in the know of where the stream was. I also wanted to shout out the Discord group for my channel, Universe X. We talk about pretty much everything there. And then also my second channel, where I am doing Dragon Ball gaming, and we just actually pulled for the anniversary units for Dragon Ball Dokkan Battle. So if you love me, just go over there and just watch the video, or just mute it and put it in the background so the algorithm bumps it up. It would really be wonderful for me if even half my subscribers just put that video in the background and muted it. That way it could get bumped, more people could see it on the searches, and draw some more eyes that may be willing to subscribe. So hey, help a dude out. And after that, just as per usual, TCGMetalZ. Love the brand, love the company, love the owner, and they make some pretty cool stuff. And don't sleep on the Crimson Warrior giveaway, because that's happening soon. So getting into the actual kind of deal, the tournament was 100 people. It is current format, of course, and yeah, it was just kind of like it's kind of interesting because it's like the last hurrah before we get really into the format, if I'm not mistaken. Could very well be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's the last hurrah before we get into the next set. So with that being said, I'm gonna skip to the top 8 because that's where everything kind of gets fleshed out. It was Swiss rounds into top 16, and then top 8, of course, played until a little down to one champion. In the top 8, we had Blue-Red Soul Striker, piloted by Devin Wilkerson. If I mess up any name, I apologize. I apologize in advance. We got Yellow Icarus, played by Josh. Can't find the last name, sorry. I tried to put together everything as best I could, though. We had Golden Frieza, set 1 Golden Frieza, played by Legends. I mean, and you're gonna start hearing some prominent names. You got Yellow Icarus, piloted by Eon Hill. The moment you saw him and his brother in this tournament, I don't think you should be surprised. Like, they've been busting out content just of them playtesting this matchup. And if you haven't, you should just go visit their channel. Let me see if I can put the link in the description. But yeah, Hilltoon's been testing that for a while, so it doesn't really surprise me that he's up in this top 8. You've got Gogeta Zeno by Dylan Camacho. Is that how you pronounce your name? Very cool. Like lone warrior in this top 8, but I'm gonna get to that later. Then I believe we had a Android 16 player in top 8 as well. Now, I couldn't find the name. I'm sorry. Was trying to get at this, and I didn't want to bother Cesco or Sublett too much because they've been having a really, really long day just getting all this stuff together. So that's pretty much that. Then you had Blue Yellow Icarus, piloted by Justin Rios. You guys should know the name if you're competitive. If you don't, dude's a machine. And then you got Blue Yellow Soul Striker, piloted by Robbie Reitz. So, with that being said, looking at the top 8, you had 3 Icarus, most represented deck. It was even more represented in the top 16. But, I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. This deck is by far the strongest deck of the format. You have the undeniable wall of defense that is yellow right now. You have the fact that most of yellow's best cards cantrip, and then Icarus is actually able to plus as a leader. So he has the smallest engine, so you're able to put the best yellow generic cards in there. And between Icarus plussing you and most of the cards cantripping you, you really don't go down on hand size until you decide to shotgun. So there is no real surprise to that. Now, right under that, with the second most representation, you got Soul Striker with 2 different variants. Soul Striker shouldn't surprise anybody either, because while not as strong as Icarus in terms of, like, you know, the mid game, or the fact that, you know, blue has D-Magic, blue has Baby Hatch, but blue can be ran down. You can run down blue's options in terms of hand, and yellow just doesn't get broken into as easily because yellow, like I said, it's cantripping on most of its good cards and it's plussing off its leader. So even with the energy disparity between both decks, blue sometimes ends up slipping in the mid game versus Icarus. So, but these two were vastly different versions. We had a blue-yellow by Reitz, and that deck is actually just Soul Striker, but it wants to kind of be able to lean into some of the better cards, like Kefla. Kefla is a huge part of this kind of just, it's a power card in this format. It really is. It's actually a whole-on reason to consider splashing a color because it's so strong in what it does. And then you've got blue-red Soul Striker, which was essentially Soul Striker Invoker. And that was actually a really, really cool treat to see, because with the energy, like just generation of Soul Striker, energy manipulation, plus Invoker, you were able to open up a lot more plays, and I at least enjoyed seeing it. I was a little sad that it didn't go as hard as I thought it was going to go, but I was interested in seeing it. Now, in the minority, you've got Android 16, which is one of those decks where I'm not sure if it's like the best deck, but it definitely has some interesting interactions. Has a very, 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 very tight Cell Surge matchup, and on top of having a Cell Surge matchup that's very tight, it also is able to play in a very different way. So if you're not keyed into the matchup, it's very easy to kind of not know where the matchup is going and be able to be played around with. You've got Gogeta Zeno, which nobody should really be surprised at making this far. Like, Gogeta Zeno is a high roll, low roll kind of deck, but in its current capacity, we saw Dylan mill badly a couple times. We also saw him mill godly a couple times. But what that shows is that when this deck rolls badly, you just kind of, you can still get there, even against some of the better decks in the formats, even against the big boss of the format. But when it rolls godly, sometimes there's nothing you can do but like watch yourself get scooped up. So that's kind of wild. The deck still has gas, it's just not as consistent as Icarus, and it kind of shows that because you can see the representation. Next, you have got Legends playing Golden Frieza. I am not going to say go out there and play Golden Frieza right now. I'm going to point out two things. One, Legends is a seasoned competitive player and he knows what he's doing. Two, Yellow is really dumb right now, and essentially Yellow as a color can carry most semi-competitive to competitive Yellow leaders. So yeah, don't go home and be like, oh, this is the wave, but at the same time, it's just kind of wild because when Legends went up against another Icarus player, it was literally just the fact that while he had more energy, the Icarus player was able to kind of just do better Yellow things. It was Yellow versus Yellow with a leader that was, you know, constructually superior to the other leader. So unfortunately, that's kind of how the cookie crumbled. Now going into top 4, we had 3 Icaruses and 1 lone Gogeta. The way this worked out was Soul Striker, Blue-Red Soul Striker, was beaten by Icarus. It was unfortunate, but he petered out at the end, and you needed lots of cards in hand to combo with that deck, and it just wasn't working out because of his Invoker, and he kind of got whittled down. Legends faced Eon Hill, and like I said, same card quality, better leader on one side, better leader end up winning. They're both very skilled players. Gogeta Zeno beat Android 16. Aggro actually can slip under Android 16. Android 16 can do some pretty cool things in the mid-range, late-range game, but yeah, early game, that's actually a window to put some hurt on him, and Gogeta Zeno just did that. And then you had the Justin Rios game versus Robbie Reitz, and Justin Rios won with his blue-yellow Icarus over blue-yellow Soul Striker. It's one of those things where, once again, you have decks that they're not doing exactly the same thing, because one is blue with a splash of yellow, the other is yellow with a splash of blue, but Icarus is seeing more cards. Icarus kind of has the stronger plays in terms of like how his deck is flowing, and Soul Striker, like I said, can be whittled down. They do not have that infinitely flowing defense as much as yellow does. Then we move on to the top four, and the matchups were blue-yellow Icarus with Justin Rios versus yellow Icarus with Eon Hill, and then you had Icarus by Josh, piloted by Josh, versus Gogeta Zeno. Gogeta Zeno took that pretty hard. Did Gogeta Zeno things and fought pretty hard. But the Icarus versus Icarus matchup is interesting because they both had some very, very good plays with a very high level of play. But it's kind of interesting. Like, Justin Rios wanted to splash blue for Sensu and essentially Kefla, and Kefla came through. Like, if you saw him on stream, Kefla came through in those games. So he was able to pull ahead. And shout outs to everybody at this point for just playing so well. It was just really fun to watch. And then you had the finals, which was Rios versus Gogeta Zeno. That was a crazy match. Game 1 went to Gogeta Zeno. Game 2, I thought that it was going to go to a Game 3, and Gogeta Zeno was able to pull it out, but it was down to the wire. Like 4 cards left in Gogeta Zeno's deck. He was searching to try to figure out exactly what he needed, and while he was drawing cantripping with Shadow, or with Smoke Dragon, to try to see if he can just get those cards off the ground. Because I think he only had like one more valid beater in deck, but he ended up comboing everything on the Kai. It was pretty cool. And when it comes to his deck, he was running the Smoke Dragon, Smoke Shenron. Why this is so important is because Smoke Shenron is able to actually remove cards from the grave, remove battle cards. And so when your opponent is putting, their normals in grave and you're warping them out, they only run 4. Once you have 4, yes, they can still draw 1 per turn by bringing out the vanilla, but they can't bring it out and then combo with it. So their Pot of Greed is essentially just a Upstart Goblin, which is a 1-for-1. Granted, it's just happening from your leader just doing it, but yeah, seeing 1 card a turn on top of your draw is not as good as seeing 2 cards a turn from your other draw. And once they're all removed, there's some issues that you're going to run into with the acceleration of your deck. So it was really cool to see that happen. And it was just wild. This in no way, shape, or form to me indicates that Gogeta Zeno is better than Icarus. Icarus is clearly more consistent, but this also shows that Gogeta Zeno still definitely has the power. Now, going into the next format, it's really scary because we've had some times where we've been waiting on the ban list, but this is the second or third time in the past year where we are sitting here just completely contingent on this ban list. Like, it's not even like, oh, these things need to be trimmed or this needs to be. We are sitting here knowing that the format that comes after is just going to be the same format if we do not have certain things getting hit. And spoiler alert, Yellow could lose power to Super Saiyan right now and still be very, very strong. For Yellow to not be the way it is right now, Yellow actually needs to lose so much that it currently has, and even then, Trunks and Zamasu will still be contenders next set. They'll still be contenders. So it's just kind of overall a little wild not being able to know how we're going to correctly hinder this format. Green and red don't need to be touched at all. In fact, we need a set to come out that buffs them both. But black could probably be trimmed, because if Icarus goes, Gogeta Zeno, there's no reason not to play Gogeta Zeno. It's just very, very strong. Can put amazing amounts of pressure on the board before Hatch is live if they go first. It's just Gogeta Zeno is a solid deck. It's just its inconsistency sometimes can lose it the edge versus a deck like Icarus over an 8-round tournament. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, Bandai would need to actually hit yellow really hard, and I'm not sure if they're willing to do that because yellow would need to lose a lot. The Realm of the Gods Black Kamehameha is an excellent addition to the color, and it's very strong. Steadfast and Turles literally brought the deck from despair when blue pieces got hit, well, multicolored pieces got hit, like the Violent Rampage, or Violent Rush, I think it is. Yeah, Turles and Steadfast brought that deck back. And Realm of the Gods Kamehameha is still a very strong card. I don't know what they're going to do to hamper yellow, but coming out of this tournament, oof, man. If we don't get the right hits, it's gonna be just yellow deck all over again. But yeah, let me know what you think about the turnout in the comments. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know how you feel about it if you watched it. If you haven't watched it, you can go see the vlog on PPG DBS on Twitch. I think you might need to be subscribed to him to watch it after it's been initially aired, but if so, like if you have an Amazon Prime account, that's a good place to put your Prime sub. It's great to see players like this play. You're going to learn something, you're going to get the insight, and then not only are we watching good players play, we have commentators that know how to play the game, commentators that know how these plays work, commentators that can forecast well. We have commentators that'll help you understand these plays as they're being played if you don't understand them already. So this is going to be actually one of the most educational streams I think you could possibly watch, just because of who's helming it. That being said, I want to thank you guys for watching. Yeah, let me know what you think of the kind of content. If you like the content, hit that subscribe button. Show the other channel some love if you want, and I will see you the next time you decide to join Universe X. Later.